Yeah, so I can take one of these later in the year on the four-wheel drive and caravan, sit on the caravan A-frame, but the other one, which will be the NBC, I'm going to ride the 3,000 kilometres down there, so that should be fun. Yeah, so I've got to do some prep work on this. I'm going to put new tyres on it, new chain, replace the battery. Battery's still working fine, but it's 3 years old. I thought we might as well replace that. Change the oil. I'll take some oil with me to do some an oil change on the way, and I'll put a new spark plug in it and just make sure that everything's right, ready to go. So the plan is to go from Tennant Creek across the Barkly over through Camberwell to Mount Isa, and then down to Boulia, and then Baduri, then across to Windora, and then down to Quilpie and Charleville. No, actually, I'll be going down through Yelway to Ulo, and then Cunnamulla, and then down to Burke, and then Cobar, then Lake Cargillio, and then cut across to Harden. Change of plans again due to flooding in the Channel Country in Queensland, so now it looks like I have to go down through South Australia and across, so a different way, but should be fun all the same. So I'm fitting new tyres to the Postie. A bit of tread left on this still, but not enough for a 3,000k trip. So I've got some new wild boar tyres and some heavy duty tubes to go in. Some people make changing tyres look easy. I always struggle a bit. That's it. Oh, got it. Oh, Julie. Yep, good.
I put some air in the tube just to help stop it getting pinched when you pop the last bead in.
So I'm just going to give a bit of a rundown on some of the things I'm carrying on the bike for this trip. Got my little air compressor, got a tarp which comes in handy to, if I've got to do any work on the bike, I can lay that down first so I'm not working in the dirt. And got my shaving bag, which is my tool bag, and a few bits and pieces here, spares, some tools here that I'll list in the bottom of the video. I've got some talcum powder and dishwashing soap just in case I've got to change a tyre, that comes in handy. I've got a couple of sockets here, one for the spark plug and the other one for the sump plug. I've just modified this so it'll grip with the vice grips, so I don't have to carry an extra tool for that. This is specific for my bike because I've modified my bike a bit, so I've got an Allen key here as well, 8mm socket and a few other bits and pieces here. Spare tube. I've got chain lube and tyre repair gel just in case I'm in the middle of nowhere and don't feel like pulling the tyre apart, and it's just a quick repair, so that might get me out of trouble. I've got engine oil, extra water, and I carry water on my back as well. Well, I finally got my parcel from Queensland. Just took over a month to get here due to the highway and the rail line getting washed away. So I can put my new drive chain on now, which is good. I just got to remove this link, so I just use a screwdriver to push the C-clip over, and I've got to try and hold it over a little bit there, and I'll put a split pin in there just to hold it so it doesn't pop back, even a little screwdriver or anything like that, but this is just what I've got in my tool bag on the bike, so just want to make sure I can do that. Takes the little clip off, so I've got my little multi-tool and just pull the link off. There we go. Well, it's pretty hot out here in the shed. It's 40 degrees outside, and but I've got to come out here and cut this chain down. It's 120 links, and it's got to be 102 links for the Postie bike. So I've laid the two chains out side by side just to compare the length of them. I've got to cut it here, and you can see how much stretch there is on the old chain. I'm just going to grind off the end of the two rivets that I've got to remove to be able to break the link. Beauty. Now I've just got to adjust the tension. So what you're looking for is you want both sides to be even by counting these lines here, and then you want the right amount of slack, which is about getting pretty close to there. Yeah, so it's saying about 40 mils that you can lift it up. So that looks reasonably close there. Maybe a little bit too much. I might tighten it a frac more, but not much. So then you just adjust this nut, bring it back, do the same on the other side. When you're happy with that, I tighten up the axle and the lock nut on the adjuster there. Tighten that up and then check it again, and just keep on doing that until I'm happy. Well, I'll take it for a ride later and get the chain hot and give it a spray with some chain lube. Right, so now I'm going to change the spark plug and the battery. Just to get to the spark plug, it's easier to take this off. Might be able to change it with it on there, but it'd be pretty awkward, I think. And the battery's behind here. I can still get to the battery with the auxiliary tank mounted here. It's a little bit awkward, but I can still manage. Now I'll take this off. That just lifts off. And that's better. Got the Velcro there just to hold my tool bag in place when it's underneath here. Now if I was home, I'd be using a socket set on this, but this is my travel toolkit, so I like to use it so I know that everything works. Rightio, there's the spark plug. That's been in there pretty well from when I bought the bike. I put a new one in when I first got it. So I'll just check the gap on the new spark plug. Right, so the new spark plug gap should be between 0.8 and 0.9. I don't have a spark plug gap wire tool, but with my feeler gauges here, they don't go up quite that high, but I've got a 0.635 and a 0.203. The two of them together will give me 0.835 or thereabouts. So I can check that gap, so I need to widen that a little bit. Righto, so I just open up the gap a little bit with a pair of pliers, just gently, just a tiny bit, and try it again. And probably did it a little bit too much, so a little bounce on the floor, and try again. Yep, a little bit more. That's better. Okay, that's good. Right, I can put that in now. Okay, so I've got to screw that in. And once it makes contact, I have to do another quarter turn. The owner's manual actually says to, when you first install a new plug, to tighten it up a quarter turn after it seats, then loosen the plug, and then tighten it again a sixth of a turn after it seats. Well, it seemed to me I could only turn it a sixth of a turn when I first put it in, so let's try it again. Let's see. Yeah, maybe a sixth of a turn, but there's no way that's going to loosen off. Now to remove this battery, you've got to take this cover off first. Disconnect the negative down here, then there's a screw up here that you've got to undo, and then another screw that's down underneath here that you've got to undo. Then that cover will come off over the top of the battery. It's a bit awkward. Okay. It's good that this doesn't have to happen very often. Beauty. Now, these batteries come with this little threaded piece that just sits inside there, and it just sits loose and falls out as you move it around. So what I do is I get a little bit of cardboard or paper and just make a bit of a wedge that will go underneath here, and then when you slide this in, it fits in there nice and tight, and the nut doesn't fall out, so just makes it easier. Now before I slide that back in all the way, I'll just connect the positive leads. I've got two leads, two wires there, because one is a direct feed with this fuse holder up to my USB charging port. Right, that goes back in. Right, now I can put the cover back on. Attach the little fuses to the holder there. Okay, then I can connect up the negative wire. Okay, let's connect it in. Right, okay, then I can put the covers back on. Right, all I've got to do now is the oil change, but I'm not going to worry about filming that. So I've got my tent mounted on the front there, that's nice and secure. Then on the handlebars, I've got the spot tracker, my first aid kit, and then the tank bag. I've got the USB charger for my phone, the GoPro, and the spot tracker. And then inside here I've got bits and pieces for the GoPro. And at the front here a little gauge for reading the air pressure on the tyres. I've got the auxiliary tank mounted here, and then below the auxiliary tank sits my tool bag. So that's quite neat in there. It's just a shaving bag that has all my tools in it. And then I've got in this bag I've got my air compressor, toiletries and food. I've got my air mattress, extra fuel, and some spare bits and pieces, some extra bedding stuff, so it's nice and padded at the front here with a pillow. So means that when I'm riding I've got just a padded bit against my back. And then I've got my chair in the pipe. And then on this side, at the bottom, I've got wet weather gear. If the forecast looks like rain, I can shift that around. And then cold weather gear, I probably won't need that until I get down to New South Wales, maybe. And then clothes at the top, and a map and a pen. And that's about it. So all packed up and looking pretty good. Everything in its place. Ready for the trip.
I'll put together a few videos when I'm finished. Cheers.